Good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Yo Kids podcast. Before I get started, please be sure to check out our traveling schedule. We don't have that many cities left. This has been a wonderful, wonderful, eventful summer. But check it out because we're still coming through the West. Slow. We'll be in Texas soon, and then the West is where we're at. But quick shout out to a couple of our sponsors. Homeschooling was never meant to be done alone, so remember that. It takes a village. So major shout outs to a couple of our sponsors that are mission to ensure that you find your tribe. Classical Conversations is a nationwide curriculum provider. They also provide community support, so check them out. And Base Camp is an amazing new app. It's free to download. They just launched in February. They encourage in community building. It's like a little Zillow for homeschoolers. So you go up there and you'll find homeschool families as well as community resources in your area. So check them out, Base Camp. And today we have with us Julie. Julie, introduce yourself.
Hey y'all, my name is Julie Knap. I am a solo homeschool mama of five. We just finished year number 12. Gosh, it's gone so fast. My oldest just graduated and he'll be 18 and headed to college, but not like traditional college. He's going VOTech, and I'm
Okay.
so proud of him. And then from there, I will have a junior, a seventh grader, a second grader, and one in the 3-year-old class.
What? Okay, I'm
So
gonna be
it's a
like you,
lot.
Julie. I still want more kids, so
I
no
love it.
worries.
Oh, I love it.
I'm gonna have a gap like that. If I find a man, I gotta find a
Right.
man first, Julie.
Now I'm good. Like my limit, we're good. But yeah.
Nice. Okay, so take us through what brought you to the homeschool world. What made you say, you know what, we're gonna bet on us?
So Vody Bachman, who I absolutely love and I have the utmost respect for him. 18 years ago, roughly, is when he started like popping up on my radar. And I'm sorry. Okay, take that out. Goodbye. My crew's just getting moving this morning.
No worries.
That 3-year-old. But he has a quote roughly. He spoke a lot about the if you send your kids to Caesar, don't be surprised if they come home looking like Romans, because the
Mm.
people who are with your kids the most influence them the most. Okay, go get breakfast. I'm sorry. I thought we were good here. So I
Your
was like,
mama.
this is my 3-year-old. I thought, that's really true. And so I'm like, I'm gonna homeschool. But then life got a little wild. Number one came along, and number two came along 13 months later, and I was like, God, I don't know about this. So we started, Allison, stop. We started, oh, sorry, stop. We started kindergarten in public school. There, you can see now. Okay. And then we moved to home. We were in Monroeville, Alabama, tiny little town. It is where, so sorry. Go now. Thank you. It's where To Kill a Mockingbird was written.
Okay.
One of my favorites. It's where the author lived until she died. And then God moved us to Houma, Louisiana. I didn't know you could go much farther south than New Orleans, but you can. And that's where we were. Take this to Abby. Okay, take that to Abby. Come on, thank you. Okay. Bribing with the tablet. I am not above bribery. I took one look at the schools and I was like, yeah, this is not happening. So that was that would have been my oldest kindergarten year. And so I thought, well, you know what? We'll start over. I'll put them together and we'll go. My problem is that I didn't pray about it. I was like, come
Mm.
on, God, we're going to do this. And for me, I learned a very hard lesson that I can tackle things, but if I don't pray about it, that
Mm.
doesn't necessarily mean I'm doing the right thing. So life kind of went on. We kept adding children. And we finally got to a point where my life turned upside down. My husband died about 3 years ago,
Oh
and
man.
God was like, you've got to get serious. So we joined a co-op. I was so anti-co-op. It was ridiculous. But it has
Really?
been the biggest blessing. I am
Mm.
thankful for that. I'm now
Why
on
were you anti? Why were you
because
so
I
against
can
it?
do it all by myself. Always do it by myself. And so I was like, I don't need this. It's expensive. It's this and that. It
Mm.
is worth it for me. Now I know, depends on what's in your area. Um, Please stop coming in here. So, but it has been amazing. So we graduated the first. I have another one that will graduate in 2 years. And the
Okay.
same time, my oldest will graduate from college, fingers crossed. And then this little one will start kindergarten the next year after they graduate. So,
Okay.
but it's been a blessing. And for us going through grief, hang on a second.
Yeah.
Um, if they had been in public school, it would have been this is my 7-year-old. Someone they know how to pick locks, apparently. Okay, go out right now. Go get breakfast. Hang on, let me turn this on for her. You were out. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm so sorry.
Real life. No, this is homeschool
This
life
is
because
what it's like. Usually it's not
yes.
this wild. I love camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
My big kids just got back from camp. Well,
okay.
when I left you in
Mm.
Jackson, I came down to the coast and picked my kids up from camp.
Okay. Oh, they were
So,
an overnight camp.
yeah, they were gone for a week.
Okay.
Go ask Abby. She can do it. Go ask Abby. Thank you. I can't get it. Go ask Abby. So yeah, then it's been wild. It's a little wild here on a good day.
Yeah. No, I mean, you have five, love. Like
It
you
is
have five
wild.
and you're doing it and been doing it by yourself for the last 3 years.
Yes.
Oh, and let's talk about that grief factor because
Oh,
if they were in public school, that transition, that time would have been way different. So how do you feel like that was impacted?
so I mean, I'm pretty honest with I'm a bit of a hot mess, and that's how God made me, and I'm okay
Yeah.
with that. We lost about a year and a half of schooling.
Okay.
It was unexpected. He was not sick. He was like fine, and then 15 minutes he was gone. It was a heart attack. So I was not
Mm,
prepared at all. It wasn't like he had, that we didn't know it was coming. So we just kind of hung on to each other.
mm,
I was struggling just to function, and my then 13-year-old, and I had a 4-month-old too, and she kind of became mama, which I don't like that, but it is what it is. And so
yeah.
my kids got life experience. Yes, we missed school technically, but
Academic wise.
academically,
Yeah.
the life experience and the ability to come together as a family and grieve and heal. Homeschooling was a blessing. I mean, it still is, but
Yes.
it was, to be able to keep them home, for them to be able to be like, today I need to be in my room, or today I need to, therapy, whatever they needed. They were able to do that. And
Yes.
I was a sign language interpreter at public schools for 3 years. So
Oh, wow.
I have a little bit of experience in that. And I just know that, if they had been in public schools, they couldn't have taken time off when they needed to. They couldn't breathe. And
Yes.
you're in this environment where life continues. And that's, homeschooling, working, whatever. And so for them, I feel like their grief would have been like mushed down kind of,
Mhm.
and it would have been harder for them. Um, Not that this has been easy, but
Yeah.
the homeschool community like just rallied around us.
Oh,
And
man.
it was beautiful. Like the
That co-op you
blessing,
didn't want to go into.
right? We were just starting to like kind of to dip into that. We hadn't quite started it yet, but that was the reason. So we did try classical conversations, which is an amazing program. It didn't work for all my kids,
Okay.
personality learning styles. But we were actually singing some of the songs yesterday on the way home from church. So
Oh,
it's an amazing program, but for them it would just not all of them it fit. So when we found the co-op, so yeah, this will be the third year for the co-op for
okay.
us. So yeah,
And so
God.
how does the co-op, is the co-op meeting daily, weekly? Like, how
Yeah.
do y'all meet?
So it's called Hearts. I don't know if I said we're on the Mississippi Gulf
No.
Coast. It meets at
Okay.
First Baptist Biloxi. So I'm gonna get a plug in there for them. It's been there 20 years. We just finished
Oh,
our 20th
wow.
year.
Okay.
So it's not brand new. Like they know what they're doing. We meet
Is
once a
this
week.
a church you're a member of?
Yeah, we ended up
Okay.
switching churches about a year ago.
Okay.
And so we meet once a week on Mondays, which Mondays are not my favorite days, but we meet on Mondays. And depending on who's teaching that year, you're like all the parents teach. Um, and we tell them teach what you're passionate about. And
Mhm.
so those are the classes we get. I have one mama who I love dearly. She's a mama of 8. She teaches science
Mhm.
classes sometimes, like for the younger, in art classes. So my girls are taking her classes again this year. Every year she
Oh,
changes it. I love Constitution and government and those kinds of things. So I've done The Good and the Beautiful has a really great Constitution curriculum, and I've learned so much. So I've done that a couple times. This year I'm teaching debate. That should be
I was thinking that you would teach sign language. Have you done
well, I do
that?
that too. I
Oh,
co-teach.
okay.
The church has a staff interpreter, or I work, the church or
Okay.
volunteer, and so we have ASL 1 and 2. We've had Spanish. We've got math, science. I mean, one of my kids has got a full curriculum. Like I don't have to teach much. One of them, it's all fun, fluffy classes. Not
Mhm.
like cores, which I didn't realize until the other day. I was like, oh, I'm gonna sign you up, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute. But one of them's taking apologetics, and one to take well, there's one dad who teaches life skills, and that has been so cool between changing the oil, which I've gotten a free oil change from
Nice.
that, rotating tires to how to sit,
Mm,
etiquette. And that is one of our most popular classes. So
really?
they're getting loved on by other mamas. They've got a lunch hour. They're not missing anything. We
Indeed. How
also
big
have
is the co-op?
this year we have 88 families.
Oh, oh
So
gosh.
it's decent size. It's smaller than last year, but we graduated
Okay.
15 seniors last year.
Okay.
So our middle school is growing, and so it'll be exciting to see in a couple years how many are graduates that start coming out of there.
Hmm.
But to get to know these kids and get to love on them at the same time, knowing that my kids are perfectly safe where they're at, they
Nice.
love like they're somewhat excited to go back. The, the social part, of course. I love how people are like, "Oh, homeschoolers aren't social." Yeah, no, not mine.
Exactly.
Then we also have a big sports program. Well, here in Mississippi, we have a big homeschool sports group. And each little community, like Jackson, where you guys have been, it's a big group. They're the
Mm.
Jackson Victors, and they've got volleyball, baseball. We're kind of new. We're going into year 5. Are here on the coast, the Wildcats. We've got baseball, softball, volleyball, track, and cross country. And I always feel like I'm missing one. But we have a minor league baseball team in town, and so we have a major. Every year they'll do a like a comp. My brain just stopped on what they do. They do a tournament every
Okay.
year in honor of another one of our homeschool dads that died not long before my husband did.
Mm,
And so it's really neat how the community is remembering these men, and at the same time, they have these amazing opportunities.
mm.
One of our girls from volleyball just signed to a college in Mobile, and it's just really cool to see they compete against in Mississippi. You can compete against public schools. Well,
Okay.
our track meets are like we often go to public schools for track meets. And our team competes well. Like they're right up there at the top with them. I think there's a couple of our races. They said that there's just a few teams that can beat them. Um, but it's good to the normalization of
Mm.
homeschooling and to see that like just because we school differently doesn't mean, we're
We
still
don't
the
have
same.
athletes. Look, we don't have
Right.
physical abilities. Yes. No, I would
Right.
love to see like a homeschool league in general because I feel like I have a conversation with a lot of homeschool parents or thinking about a homeschool parents who talk on the aspect of, oh, well, when they get to high school, like we want them to go to high school so that they can play was it I'm losing it too, but or organized sports
Yeah, yeah.
so they can have be college ready or have perspective or be have the chance to go
Yeah.
to college with sports. And so I would love to see like a national
Oh
homeschool
yeah.
league where it's like, oh no, we got it.
Yeah. So I know that track and cross country, they meet every year. They've got like a national competition in Tennessee. And then I think volleyball does too. Some of our girls last year went to, I don't remember. I want to say Oklahoma, but none of mine went, so I don't remember. But I
Mhm.
mean, it was homeschoolers all across the country came and they played volleyball. So it's growing. There's a need for it, and as long as parents are willing to commit, and we've even been able to pull some people in the community to come help. Um, People think it's a great idea. You either have people who are like, this is amazing or this is horrible.
Mm.
Kind of depends on where
And
they,
that's with anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of depends on where they
Hey,
work.
you can't please everybody.
Right. So our kids actually do their track at a private high school. It's right up the road from me. Gorgeous facilities. And that's where they run track. And it's
Okay.
amazing that they're allowing us to use their space. And so we're able
Nice.
to host meets here.
Nice.
We tried a couple public schools. One county in particular does not care for homeschoolers, and that's
Mm.
okay. We don't have to be everyone's cup of tea.
Indeed.
But Gulfport High School actually allowed us a couple years ago to use their facilities and just to see the schools being accepted, like they'll come to our meets, we go to their meets, and it's just kids. At the end of the day, I mean,
Yeah.
they're just kids. And so, yeah, it's been an interesting experience, but I'm proud of how far it's come. And then what's to come. Like, I mean, I'm gonna be homeschooling for another 15 years. So
Right? You will
maybe
be. Oh
I
my
might hire a
God.
tutor. I might.
You're still gonna be there. You're still gonna be
Yeah.
homeschooling, so it's okay.
I'll have grandbabies eventually at some point. We'll still be doing this. So,
Indeed.
but I'm excited for the future of homeschooling in Mississippi and that it's changing and evolving. And it used to be like I remember when I was a kid, I knew that one family and they seemed, a little weird and it was just different. I'd never seen that. And then of course, when we were kids, it was all the jean jumpers and that's what all the moms wore. But to go from that was my first impression to seeing where we are. We have homecoming, we have prom. Um, they don't miss any. They don't ride on the bus. I think that's the only thing that they're really missing. Um, they're not
Take them on the
missing.
public bus. Look, take them on the public
Right.
bus.
Those touch a truck events where you can go and we've done that. My kids are like, wow, this is a school bus.
Oh, yes.
So, I mean, they've seen it. But I don't feel like they're missing out. They're in the community, they're active at church, they're getting to know all different kinds of people from all different walks of life. And I mean, that's what we want for them is to be
Indeed.
in society. And I know people will say, oh, well, they're just in a box. I mean, they could be, but what's wrong with that? To just give
Mm.
our kids the foundation and the basics and prepare them before we put them out in the world. I feel like I can't teach my kid anything or I can't expect them to be able to live until I teach them how. And so that's kind of, I keep that in mind. But I tell them if you can't talk to me, there's all these people that love you. You can, you don't have to just talk to me about things. And so
Community.
the community, we've identified like this mom has an experience in trauma. This mom has a background in this. So, or this dad, because there's more and more dad. Well, you had two dads Saturday, which I love that. We have a couple that are involved at Hearts as well, and it's just like we need that. These boys need to see the men, and because we can't expect them to be men if they don't see that. So
Indeed.
it's been a wild homeschool ride so far, but yeah, I'm grateful. Um, and who knows where we're going to go from here?
Up,
Up,
just up,
just
up.
hanging on for a ride.
Yes, yes. Okay, so I know you said that one has their own curriculum that you don't even have to bother with. You have one that's graduated. How
Mhm.
does the day look for the other three? Minus the Monday of
Right.
co-op, Tuesday through the rest of the week. How does your days look?
It depends on the day. Um, One thing I am not good at is scheduling my time.
Okay.
So that is something we're actually working on this summer is we are cleaning out like the space where I store my curriculum because we school all over the house. But with two of them getting older, they're responsible for their schoolwork. I check it. If they get it from the co-op, they get a full week's work. And so they're
Mhm.
responsible. It's usually on Google Classroom. And that's how what I assign her, I will assign it for my classes going forward this year. And so they know what they have to do. If you want to go have fun on the weekend, you better have your school done. So one of them does Math UC, which I love Math UC. It is worth
Okay.
every penny. And I'm usually pretty frugal, but that one's worth every penny. I love the approach. So she's self-paced. She'll be going into seventh grade and that's her personality. She's motivated. And I feel like, and I know I mentioned this, it doesn't matter what curriculum you use. It's really about the approach with the kids.
Mm.
This child, it doesn't matter what, like she taught herself to read. She's that kind of
Oh,
kid. I loved
really?
her for that because I hate teach reading. I hate teaching reading. It's it's so traumatic. Um,
The
it's it's so bad. I have one more, well, more
the
trauma.
reward is worth it though, like
Right.
after the trauma, but it is like, oh my gosh.
Nothing is that bad. Like math is not that bad, but I don't, oh my gosh. So I record it every now and then. Like I'll put my phone down and so they
Mhm.
can't see that it's recording and I'll record it just so I can go back and listen later. And like this is how far we've come. So
Yes.
yeah, so that kid will do, she, now the one that's self-paced, I'm looking at like her stuff. She's got mostly, I don't say fluff classes, but not core classes.
Okay.
So I'm just going to assign everything. She likes to have it written out because that's her personality.
Mhm.
My oldest daughter, who's the junior, everything's up here. So she doesn't need me. She'll go. And even some days in co-op, she struggles with some anxiety. She's not a people person, and there's a lot of
Mhm.
people at co-op.
Mhm.
So she'll sometimes be like, "Hey, mom, I'm going to take this period off." And there was one class in particular she struggled with it. So she sat in one of the other rooms um, while she knew the teacher and the teacher knew her. And she just sat there in the corner and pulled her work from Google Classroom and she did her work in there. And it bothered
Nice.
absolutely nobody.
Nice.
Everyone was supportive. Yeah, and she'll be easy to do this year. I'm just looking over their classes. And then my
Mhm.
little guy, we're doing reading. So that's oh. But like most of his stuff he'll get from the co-op. So during the week, library time and
Mhm.
just things like he likes to play video games because he's my little techie nerd little guy, which I love it. And so we watch Sid the Science Kid or we
No.
do things just to kind of back it up. And I tell parents all the time, start in the kitchen with them. And so he's learned, fractions, and that child loves to, well, both he and the little one, I want to help. So
Mhm.
he's learning to read. So reading recipes. Target had these kits. I don't know if they still do. They're baking kits, and his came with like knives. So he's learning how to appropriately chop and cut. So
Nice.
he's learning life skills. I gave him a carrot or not carrot, a cucumber, and he just and went to town. It was the best thing ever. So the one of the biggest lessons I've learned is it's not about how I want to teach. It's about how they learn best.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, I want to just keep building that relationship. So, I mean, don't be wrong. We have knockdown, drag out fights about we we go, especially with my third child. Well, my first one, yeah. So in Mississippi, you decide when they graduate. We have so much freedom here. All you have
Okay.
to do is just report that you're homeschooling. That's it. And so I decide what he takes. I decide when he graduates. And we honestly skipped a year in there because he's not a book learner.
Mhm.
And it was just a struggle. And it was like either I keep fighting him or I talk to the junior college where he's going. And they were like, you decide when he graduates, graduate him now, send him to us, and we will continue from there. And I was
Nice.
like, okay. So, he knows what he wants to do. He wants to own an automotive shop eventually.
Yes.
So that's, and the junior colleges, especially Mississippi, the tutoring and they are set up to help you achieve whatever you're trying to do. And like we did the walkthrough and I'm like, where was this when I was getting my degree? And, I had a couple F's and where was this? And I told him, I'm like, if you fail, it is your fault
Mhm.
because there's so much support here. I encourage parents, public, private, whatever, homeschool, go the junior college route.
Mhm.
I mean, Mississippi especially is really big on their junior colleges. And I love it because it's not as expensive as a big college. So his Pell Grant will cover and some degree pathways with the VOTEC they have grants, at least at my community college. So he's doing like outside, we call it outside the car right now, like body shop work. And that he has to pay for. But when he'll finish that and then he'll switch to like under the hood work. And there's a grant from the state. So he won't have any tuition costs. Um,
Nice.
Truck driving, I don't know what the other ones are. I want to say maybe cyber crimes is another, like
Mm,
there's a long list of basically free that the kids can go. It's tuition free. You pay for books and fees and such. But I mean, then they love the homeschoolers coming in there. They love it. So I encourage any parent, especially if your kid doesn't know who really wants knows what they want to do
yes.
at 18, 19. I think I went
Nobody.
through,
I know I didn't. I
I
didn't know.
didn't.
I used to joke and say when because I subbed from like
Mhm.
21 all the way up until like 29, 28, 29. But I used to joke and say, like, I would ask my students all the time, what you want to be when you grow up? I said, because I'm still trying to figure me out. So,
Right.
like, give me some ideas. What are you trying to do?
Right. Yeah. I think I declared four majors
Mhm.
and I got through part of it. And then I was like, I want to do interpreting. And because it's a VOTech degree, I had to start all the way over because all the
Mm.
other stuff was not needed. Um, and there's
But
not a
that's
lot
so
of
dope. You
schools.
can go and do that at a concert and stuff. Like you can go to interpret
Mhm.
anywhere.
I do it well at church right now.
Okay.
The licensing in the state has changed. So I'm good at church, but we do a lot of productions. So we started at Christmas. We did a massive singing Christmas tree, which is so cool. And then from there we rolled into Easter and then rolled into the church's 150th celebration. And now like I'm done. But then we have Sunday mornings but yeah, but my kids are learning. And so that's their foreign language because
Nice.
Mississippi now officially accepts ASL as their foreign language. So
Awesome.
I love that. It's such a need. So yeah, so
It
they're getting
is.
life experience by singing it in church, by participating in the deaf ministry. Sometimes I'll drag some along and be like, we don't talk here. Voice is off. You're just signing. And so you just throw them in the
Mm.
deep end. Just go.
Yes, I know
And
that's immersion.
yes,
I've been using that word because I've been talking to people, and that's like how you learn best is
yeah,
just being in it and using it.
yeah.
So that's
I
dope.
agree. But it's been good. But I take that approach with spelling some. I don't like I hated memorize this word, write it out, write it five. Mm-mm. So we just started writing and what else? There was something else. I did this with times tables too. I
Mm,
let them have like a copy of it. And so when they're doing math, I don't say wasting my time. We're not spending our time on memorizing. They're doing it. They're doing the math. They're looking at the times tables, and eventually we don't need the times tables anymore because they're
mhm.
doing the math enough because they're in it and they're not, you know. Now some people like to memorize and that's perfectly fine. Just for some of mine that just didn't work. Um and so I'm like, here, go for it. My mom was like, oh, you're giving them a cheat sheet. And I'm like, kind of.
Yes, the answers are here.
Yeah.
I know the girls are working through Astro Boy book right now, and in the back, I showed them the keys, like, hey, like, don't struggle through it. By all means, like, you could try it on your own because I feel like we're going the memorization route, like multiplication wise. It's like, like, once
Yeah.
you learn them. They don't go
Yes.
away because I don't practice them, but they're still, up
They're
here.
still in there. Yeah.
And yeah. So it's just like, okay, just keep doing them. Just keep doing them. Especially with my oldest. My youngest, she was doing multiplication there. She was like, I just don't want it. I was like, okay, just go back to the adding and subtracting. That's fine. Like by
We'll get
all
there.
means. Yeah,
We'll get
exactly. Like
there.
it's no rush. You got forever. You
Yeah.
got a calculator, so we're good. But
Right.
so I'm not opposed to, hey, here's the answer, or here's how you find the answer, or let's just use this calculator real quick because
Yeah.
it gives you all the answers,
Right.
because you're gonna learn it either way.
Yeah, and in today's world, like it's a balance now with the technology.
Mhm.
Um, like I know that I've taught the clock, like the actual clock, the round clock, not the
Yes.
digital. Like they've gotten a little bit of it, but then one of mine the other day said, I don't know how to read this. And I was like, oh. And then I realized how often do we see that? Like I want them to be able to
Indeed.
understand it, but do I
In the
want to spend
library.
right? But do I want to spend that much time on it like we used to when we just don't use it that much anymore, you
Yeah.
know? Like I know the big thing is cursive, that big argument.
Mhm.
Mine can, they just choose not to. But then again, they're
Indeed.
not taking notes by pen and paper that much either. So I think it's a balance between embracing the new technology, but still giving them a touch of, I hate to say the old because I'm not old, but
No. Yes.
that
No.
just enough. But I feel like that's with a lot of things though. Like as we're kind of going on, I still want them to understand some of the basics. But yeah, especially like history and that kind of stuff. Um, because I know reading on social media, they don't know their history, or even basic, social politics or just not politics, but the basics, like how we kind of came to be and amendment, like all of that. So that has been one thing, again, another immersion thing that my kids have done. We've worked with a group that's done some working on laws in the state, and so they've done, they've seen the process, they know the process, and it's been a good thing. There's a big homeschool group, well, a big group with homeschoolers, and so it wasn't specifically homeschool, but all of the kids understand, and a lot of them go on to Team Pact. They were in Jackson
Oh,
with y'all,
yes, yeah.
which is a really neat group. None of mine are interested, unfortunately, but it's much. I'm like, they're like, Mom, we're so tired of this stuff. But I mean, they know it. And so,
Yeah.
I think ultimately my goal as a mom, school wise, is to make them productive, capable citizens when they graduate, that they can get a job, fill out paperwork, all those things. And they don't need me. Like, I'm here to catch them, but I don't want to be the mom who's like, let me fill that out for you.
Mhm.
Mm-mm, you go try and then bring it to me. So,
Yeah.
and I usually tell them, like, I'll give you one. So this year we registered my son for college, and I was there. I made him put his email address. Like, I'll hold your hand, but I'm not going to do it for you. I said, this is your one. Next semester, you're on your own.
Mhm.
And they hold their hands. And I mean, it's really easy. But he's like, I just don't know what to do. And I
Yeah,
said,
because
well,
they have the traditional kids coming through and they need hand holding. That's the
yes,
thing. I feel like homeschoolers, because a lot of moms or parents in general go into homeschooling thinking they have so much to prove because it's going against the grain, that
yeah,
they like their level of rigor and what they expect from their child is way above the standard. Like,
yeah,
the norm. And so when their child does go and get immersed in the real world, I said,
yeah,
but go and get out there, they're fine. They're like, wait a minute.
yeah.
Like I even talked to, some college, like homeschoolers that are college students, and they're always like, yeah, no, this is easy.
I've
This
heard
is
that.
easy.
I've heard that. My son has a good friend, and it's getting really popular to finish like your last 2 years of high school at the college. And so they'll do like,
Hmm.
ninth and 10th grade, and then they'll get their associate's degree
Dual
at the same time they get
enrollment.
their homeschool diploma. It's really, really getting popular in the homeschool world here. But then the public schools are starting to do it, and we're like, we've been doing that a while, but they were, breaking news, whatever. I'm like, it's not new. They've had this program. It's just growing. But so a friend of his who did classical conversations all the way through, he was like, Miss Julie, this is so easy. He was like,
Mhm.
these professors, they like me. I'm like, that's because you're used to developing a relationship with your teachers. And not only that, but you're used to working and doing,
Critically thinking.
yes. Well, I
Like
would say classical conversations is big on the critical thinking.
yes, that's what I like about it. We don't use it or anything, but
Yeah.
just the talking to everyone who does use it and just glimpsing through their structure and everything. It's like, oh no, y'all got these kids thinking and having
Yes.
conversations, the big conversations too at 5, 6 years old. So
Right.
it's like for you to say a child has gone all the way through it, it's like, oh yeah, I can imagine. Like I know their wheels just
Right.
keep turning, you
Oh, this
know?
child's wheels are always turning. But to encourage, someone told me, I think it was a dance teacher, that she's like, I always know, this is pre-COVID, but she said, I always know who my homeschool kids are because they have
Mm,
questions, always questions. I was like, yeah, that's about accurate. But we encourage that.
yeah.
My 7-year-old and I had this big discussion on electric vehicles and are they a good thing in a hurricane prone area?
Mm,
And so I was like, well, what about, like,
mm.
how do you charge them when the power goes out? And so, he's never experienced a hurricane. So I explained like Katrina when the whole state was out of power. And he was like, oh, so just to get those wheels turning, I don't care what he came up with, but just to get the wheels turning
Yes, and
and
to be having
thinking.
that type of yeah, the thinking
Yeah.
part. Yes.
I think
I
that's
know
a
I
big part
was,
of it.
yeah, the thinking.
Hmm. That thinking, that processing, the brain going, and yeah.
Yeah, because you have to think in traditional school settings. I always share, like, I taught public school, I taught English, and all our meetings, our faculty meetings, they always talk about modeling for the student. Like they want you to model something, model something. When I was teaching 10th grade, I stopped modeling because anything I put on that board, I had about 25 papers turned in that looked like exactly what I put on the
Right.
board, and that's not what I want. Like I just wanted you to to show you the structure of it. I didn't want you to just take my paragraph and change a couple words out of it. And that's
Right.
essentially what they were doing. So the level of thinking is different in traditional school. Also, to go along with that is the conforming to the popular opinion. So as opposed to having their own thoughts and their own, oh, I
Mhm.
like this, or oh, I think this, they're like, oh, like they'll, they stay in a safe space because they don't
Right.
want to get joked, they don't want to get teased, they don't want to anything. So they go with the popular opinion. So I felt like it was a lot of followers. Essentially,
Yes.
it's like it's a well, huh. Are you thinking, or are you just going with your friend? Your friend said they like this, so this is what you're gonna do. So
Yeah. And I mean, we do see some of that because they're kids, but
yeah.
if they come up with something else, everyone's like, oh, like,
Mhm.
oh, that's a good idea. And so it's more of a welcoming, like, oh, kind of group think a lot of it, especially like that sixth, seventh, eighth. I love that age period because they are starting to think and process on their own. I'm teaching debate and logic this year, so and it's a
Mm.
lot of sixth or seventh, eighth, and a few ninth graders. And I'm excited to see. And I'm like looking over yesterday, I was looking through like who's in this class, and I was like, oh Lord, this is gonna be a doozy. Like it's either gonna go really because I've got some of those boys in particular at that age, they want to challenge, not necessarily
Mm.
authority, but they want to be able to question. And so I have one in particular, and I talk about he's gonna come from a very big family and he's precious. But he likes to challenge, and he said, Miss Julie, are we going to have any rules in your class next year? And I said, son, you're in my class. What do you think? And he's like, okay. But just the fact that he felt comfortable to like express like, okay, I'm excited about it. He's ready to go. Um, I'm excited though too, just to be able to, I like, you don't, and I tell my children, you don't have to think the same as me. You just have to think, and I hear that a lot. Like, don't you want your kids to vote the same as you? I mean, every parent wants their kids to follow the same thought pattern, but if my kids are thinking, if they're informed, and if they understand why they're thinking the way that can back it up, that's all I ask for. And so
Yes.
that's what I'm seeing a lot of that coming. Like, it's not, I think people have a perception of we're just raising copycats of ourselves.
Exactly. Well, you meet mine, my oldest does not accept no for nothing. Like I can give
Right.
her a list of reasons and everything, and she'll still, but why? Like,
Right.
why not? Like,
And it's
yo,
not
I
rude.
literally just told you, like, I gave you a whole like thesis
Right.
right now, and you're just like not accepting of it. Like she's that strong-willed and so like, oh,
Right.
I'm gonna get the result that I want because I'm gonna wear you down because this is all negotiable.
But it's
Everything's
not
negotiable for her.
it's not like they're trying to be rude.
No.
Like it's not, and I try to explain this to people. It's not that they're trying to challenge our authority. They're trying to understand our authority and how we got
Yes.
to that conclusion.
Yes.
And so one thing we talk about here is that I will do my best to explain everything I can, but sometimes
Yes.
you just have to trust me enough to know that when I say this is it, that I'm doing it for a reason. And if I can explain it to you later, I will. And if I can't, I hope that you trust me to make these decisions.
Indeed.
It kind of goes a little contrary to the way I grew up. My dad was military. So it
Mm.
was, this is, that's how they grew up. This is what I say, and this is what you do. It doesn't happen here.
Yeah, we were raised by boomers, girl. They weren't opinion, like
Right.
thoughts. Like, what? Girl, I said so because I said so. And that's why I be
Exactly.
telling my 11-year-old, I don't say that to you. I've never said because I said so or just cause or I
Yeah.
always take the time to explain. Unless, like you said, it's in the moment of, girl, just listen.
Yeah.
Like, yo, come
Like
on and just listen.
when I say don't run across the street, don't ask me why. Like just trust that
Exactly.
I'm
What?
telling you.
Yes.
I mean, I appreciate the thought though, like they're
Yes.
wanting to process. But lately it's the hormones. Seventh grade, she's almost 13. And so I've started, you asked, I answered, move on. Like
Mm.
some things, just not everything we need to argue or discuss it. And you just have to accept this is my answer. I will explain, but like, can I go to so and so's house? No. Can I? Nope. Ask, answer, goodbye. So there are those moments. Well, why not? Well, we're standing in front of a lot of people at church, and I'm
Mm.
not going to tell you that I'm in a bad
And
mood.
they tried to get you while you were busy too. Look at it.
Yes. Oh, she's terrible. I mean, I love her spunkiness, but she's the worst at that. And why can't I? We're gonna, she has this whole logical presentation ready, and I'm like, dude, stop.
Already.
You asked, I answered. But
Yes.
the big things that we'll discuss, and then they know that they can come to me. I mean, I'm sure they don't come to me on everything, but just that we've worked really hard on that space where I'm like, if you have questions, I'd rather you talk to me than get in trouble. So,
Yeah.
because we do that too, a
Yeah,
lot of it.
right. Indeed, we do. Quick. Did your oldest did they ever want to go to public school?
The only one that really has been my middle child. She
Okay.
is an like the definition of extrovert is
Mm,
that child. So that is one reason that the co-op has been such a blessing because
nice.
she like, well, like when COVID happened, we were going to classical conversations, and my second child is the opposite. Like she is introvert. She would live in her room all day, come out for food, talk to me a minute. But my middle child needs people, and so she was 6, 7-ish. I think she was well, 5 or 6. Yeah, probably 6. Anyway, so when everything shut down and the co-op shut down, she was like, "Mommy, I need people." And I'm like, "Bye, let's go home." So she wanted to go to public school, and I think if I allowed her to, she would, but I think she'd come home pretty quick. I think that she would understand my reasoning. She sees her people going, and then like when everyone goes back to school, then we joke, that the homeschoolers come out and play again in the
Mhm.
playgrounds and whatever. And so that's going to happen at the end of July. People start going back to school, and I'm like, she's starting to see the value in what we do, but she just wants people. Like that's
Mhm.
just so I keep her busy now. So I've got her
Mhm.
in a lot of different little things where she can just stay with people. I don't need people as much as she does apparently, but yeah, the other ones are pretty content.
Cool.
My oldest talked about it briefly, and then a friend of his was like, "Dude, you'd like get eaten alive if you went to homeschool." But I will say one of the many things I love about homeschooling is that these kids are just, everyone's like, "Oh, homeschoolers are weird." They're not weird. They're comfortable in their skin,
Mhm.
and they
Oh,
are
say
like,
it.
this is who they are, and they don't have that pressure that I hate for these public school kids to conform to that box. And it's very hard to be unique. With these
Mm.
kids, they're all
Oh.
they're all something, and they know it, and they embrace it, and they don't care. Like, they don't care. They all find, they find their tribe. I mean, people do that. They find their
Mhm.
tribe, even within the co-op. They find each other, and Lord bless them, they can gossip and they can all the things. And middle
Not
school does
perfect.
all of that anyways, but
Yes.
they have their tribe, and they're not. I said they're not missing anything. They've got even when they do dances, you can still like the clothing range and the personalities come out in it. And some of them like, yep, that is you. Definitely, but if that's what works for them, and then that's all we care about.
Indeed, it is. Yeah, I'm not even gonna touch on my little two little. They are them. They are them, and
Yeah.
they are very comfortable in them. Like even if I'm not, even if
Yeah.
I'm not, like oh my gosh, that's how you want to come out here. Okay,
Right.
that's fine. All right, whatever. Like, I know.
Please don't wear that in public. Why
Right? Like,
not?
oh my gosh, like this is what we're doing. But I mean, I'm not much better, so it's like, girl, do your thing. Do your thing, honey.
I only care Sunday mornings is really the
Yeah,
big deal. After that, I'm
indeed.
like, whatever. They all know who you are at this point. Why am I gonna even argue it? There's
Can
no
I
point.
daunt on Mississippi for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, so traveling wise, I've never stopped in Mississippi. Like I've
Mhm.
passed through Mississippi tons of time. But I'm like, oh, I'm not stopping there. Like, it's not, because it's just like,
What's
no.
there, right?
Yeah, what, no, not even what's there, but yeah, what's there,
Right.
too. But it's just like, the reception wise, did not know how it was going to be.
Yeah.
When I tell you, I will never, like, anybody ask me about Mississippi, I just, what? No, go there.
Good.
I promise you the welcome, the love, everything is there. I have received nothing but love here. We
Good.
have received nothing but love here. We're still here.
Right.
What?
You
It's
haven't left yet.
Tuesday. The expo is Saturday. We are still here and still plan to hang out at least two more
Good.
days here. Mississippi's awesome, and I want people to take the time to come into Mississippi because they
Yes.
need economically for people to come into
Hmm.
Mississippi so that you can come and venture and pour into this community just as well. Because there are, just as any other place has their good and their bad,
Oh yeah.
it's the same thing here. We have not come across the bad, and I'm glad that we have been,
Good.
making the moves that we have. But it's an amazing place. It
Hmm.
really is. The community, the people, everything is all love. So I just wanted to put that out there
Good.
for real quick because I promise you, Julie, I was no,
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I know I hate it because Mississippi is such a diverse, unique state. So where
it
you're at,
is.
and when you come to the coast, it is like two different states.
Mm,
Jackson gets a really bad rap because the crime
yes.
is high, and I hate it because it is such a beautiful city. The history of Mississippi is so rich and so amazing. Most people don't know we elected the first after the Civil War, the very first African American senator was from
Mm,
Mississippi. Most
mm,
people don't know that. I'm like, I know that people perceive it as one way. And I get it. We've had a bad history, but not everybody's like that.
right.
They're really wanting to get the city polished up again and shine. We've got an amazing there's a civil rights museum there.
Mm,
There is, I mean, I like going to the Capitol that you can come in, you can tour it. There's just so much history in this state. And some of it's bad, but history's not always good. But then there's amazing history. Like most people don't know that Ocean Springs, Mississippi was founded in 1499 because the French
mm,
landed here. And so everyone assumes, well, the French, in New Orleans because of all the Cajun or Mobile. No, it starts right here, like pretty much in my backyard. And so it's really just rich in history. The coast is very unique because at one point there's three military bases here. That's
mm,
how I moved down here because my dad was military. And so there was used to be a very large Vietnamese population. The shipping industry or the fishing and the shipbuilding industry used to be huge before the casinos went in. There's a lot of things to say great about this state. And
indeed.
our homeschool laws are one of the very best things because we have so much
Nice.
freedom and
Yes.
I love it. So when people dog on the state, I'm like, hang on, you know, we
Go.
call it
Like,
the
come. Like, tell them to come here.
yeah, come. So in the fall, we have they call it the world's largest block party. It's cruising the coast. It is old cars. So it like starts at like in 1980, I think in 89 or older. And that's
Mm,
like and it's a week-long party, literally all 26 miles of coastline. Um, and it's you go on the beach and you drive down there. There's old cars. Well, not so much old cars because these cars that can register to be part of the old car group are younger than I am. So they're not, I don't all feel old, but it's an amazing time there's always gonna be nasty people anywhere you go, but overall,
anywhere
people
you
don't
go.
care. Come have a good time. We just finished scraping the coast, which is a lot of the low riders and it is such a cool thing. My husband worked with the first couple ones that they started back, I think '05 is when the first one was. And so to see that build, they also had, right now we're kind of getting a bad rap because a lot of the guys had their squatted trucks and that's illegal in Mississippi. So the cops had a
Mm.
blast this past weekend. Oh my gosh. So all over TikTok right now is videos of like these boys that might be 21, 22, and their list of tickets is like, a mile long and they're getting they were busy. But we love when people come here. Ocean Springs is a artsy community and it's like a hallmark town, kind of, especially in the fall and the winter when the lights are lit up. Bay St. Louis, I mean, it's just such a neat area full of different things to do. Um, we don't have a big party scene here, which is fine. It's not,
Right.
if you're coming to Mississippi to party, like that's not necessarily what you want to
Now, you
do.
have some good food though.
Oh, the food. My brother's
Yeah.
the chef, so I'm a little partial to it, but yeah, the food is good. I mean, from Italian to Vietnamese to soul food, to Cajun. I mean, if you want to eat it, it's here. And then
Indeed.
New Orleans is an hour and a half one direction. Mobile is an hour in the other direction. If you want a beach with waves, don't come here. We don't have waves. We have islands that stop our waves. The water is not dirty. Everyone says it is, but because we don't have the waves, it's
Mm.
not, the clear water. Like
There's no clear water anywhere besides
no,
Miami, girl.
no,
You
no,
gotta go all
no.
the way down there
You go out to
for.
we've got Barrier Island about a couple miles out, and you on the
Oh,
other
okay.
side. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Really?
Oh my gosh, it's
Okay.
gorgeous. But yeah,
See, another fun fact, because I thought Miami's the only way. It's like you gotta go to Key
no,
West, Miami,
yeah,
because
that water
I
there
grew
is
up in
pretty.
Virginia Beach and our
Oh,
water
okay,
is not clear, nowhere
right.
near it.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
So,
You don't usually see people in our water. We joke you can see who the tourists are because they're in the water.
oh yeah, we about to
But
get in the water. Well, the girls are, not me, but
yeah, I don't. Now my kids will, and it's not super deep. So if we go to the beach, we go to Ocean Springs.
Okay.
And so it's, and there's other places farther down, but it's just kind of closest to me. And the kids go in the water, they don't care. And so we get out there and it's a little hot right now, but we get out there and you can do bonfires in Ocean Springs. And I don't know, I'm sure there's more, but they've got big old bonfire pits. You can
Okay.
rent those, and I mean it's just good. It's good people. Food trucks
Yes.
everywhere. It's just, yeah.
And that's what me and Miss Glow was talking about this morning. It was just like she said, "Don't judge a book by its cover." I
Yes.
said, "Yes, ma'am," because it takes coming here. I promise you, I used to avoid it, but I said I would never. Anybody ask me about Mississippi, I'm gonna just volunteer. Look, even if
Yeah.
they're not talking about Mississippi, I'm just volunteer.
Right.
You looking for somewhere to go? Yo,
Yeah.
if you're going through Mississippi, stop. Stop in the town and check it out. Because Ridgeland was awesome.
Yes.
The spaces we went to out there. Then Jackson, of course. We ended up going to the Natural Science Museum
Isn't
yesterday.
that fun?
The girls loved it.
I
Kenny was
love.
just like, "This is awesome." And she took a little notebook to take notes, talking about she was
Oh,
doing this for extra credit. I said, "Okay, girl, do
and that
it."
playground, that
Oh
playground.
yes. Mind you, the heat here don't come during the summer. Like
No.
come like come in spring. I would think to come in spring because
Yes.
the summer is so real here. Y'all know we live in Phoenix and I'm telling you
It's a different
this
kind
is
of heat.
real and different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-mm. So
I
no
was glad.
summertime visit because you're gonna not want to go and do
No.
anything because the girls only made it like 10 minutes at that park. And I said, I
Yes.
know if it was cooler, y'all really would have had a ball because that park was really
My
awesome.
teenagers love that park.
Oh, I'm
It's so
sure.
much fun. And
Yes.
there's not a lot of free stuff to do. There's, the museums are decent price. Those are.
Yes.
I
Yes. That
don't
was real
Yeah,
tolerable.
that was a good one. And I don't mind making the drive because it's about almost 3 hours. So I don't mind going up
Okay.
there. There's the Agriculture Museum, which is just north, like just kind of over the road, over the highway, whatever, from where y'all were. And that's
Mm.
really neat because it's all the history of Mississippi's agriculture. Our
Mm.
agriculture commissioner, Andy Gibson, has done a phenomenal job bringing that back to life. In the fall, they do activities where you can go and it's a little town and you can see what life was like back then. And they have an actual blacksmith, and you can see him working. But it's all about the history of agriculture, which again is one of those lost things. So yeah, I love it up there. I hate that I can't get up there more often, but like we're even close to Pensacola, so we're gonna go see the Blue Angels come fall.
Nice.
So if you come back, come between like October and like May.
Okay.
It's
Yes.
tolerable. Unless
Yes.
we're getting
Wait.
snow, which was we got snow. We got 8 inches of snow this past year. It
Oh,
was
wow.
unreal. I've never seen that like ever here. You never know. It could be hot.
Gosh.
You could wear shorts on Christmas. You could be freezing. Always a surprise here.
Indeed. Well, I got two more things before I
Yes.
let you go, Julie. One, with you being a single mother of five right now, how do you self-care?
Um, I don't know. I just kind of hang on. No, actually, so I've always been a bit of a crunchy mama, like co-sleeping, nursing, and all that. I just moved my kid and my youngest out of my bed, and that right there, having that time and shutting everybody out, that's done a lot.
Mm,
My best friend lives 2.5 hours away, so any chance I get, I escape there. But
okay.
the biggest thing, because I do have little ones and getting away is difficult, finding a tribe that comes around me and loves on me and we can, all love on each other that see like, or I can say, hey, this is a hard day. Father's Day was a very hard day. And just to know that I have people supporting me. So if I do start to fall apart, they see it. To me, that is like a huge form of
Everything,
self-care to
yeah.
build that tribe and that love. But yeah, downtime doesn't. Every now and then, my older, not so much my son because he works a lot, but my oldest daughter babysits a good bit. And I appreciate it. I take it where I can. My parents actually had my kids twice this week. And
Nice.
they're older, they're early 70s, so it's a lot. But
Yes.
yeah, we just, my faith is pretty strong, and that's really what's gotten me through it. But I do dream of the day where everybody leaves and I can sit here in quiet. Oh, but yeah,
It
it's
will
just one
come.
moment at a
Yeah.
time and hide out when I
Indeed.
can.
Indeed. Indeed. All right. And three things you would want people to leave here with if they didn't hear anything else. Just three things that, hey, take this with you.
Yeah. The first one, and I think I touched on it, there's no such thing as a perfect curriculum. I has wasted so much money. I did one curriculum 3 times because I couldn't remember why I didn't like it. And it was a good curriculum and I can recommend or but it didn't work for me. I was trying to recreate public school, and that doesn't work.
Mm,
It doesn't work. You don't have to have a special space. I mentioned the kitchen, huge space, and my kids like to sit around the island while I'm working. And as they're working too, there's conversations happening. My bed is especially when they were little, I put one on each corner, and we'd kind of rotate, or they'd sit on the floor. But I feel like sometimes a parent's room is like a comfort space. We school there. We never school at the dining room table. Never. And then the third thing is that there's no such thing as a perfect homeschool mama. We
mm,
all make mistakes. Sometimes I yell. Well, more than sometimes, some days. But like my job is to love these kids and to
indeed.
inspire learning in them. And some days I can create a great meal and we can homeschool all day and it's great. Some days it's just cereal and we're still in the clothes we woke up in. And that's okay.
And that
They
is
will
okay.
know that they're loved and they will see you trying and moving forward. And that's the goal. Not necessarily to cram facts. Like some people look at homeschooling like it's the kids are glass and we fill them up. I look at it as kids are a sponge and that learning is a spill basically and they just soak it up. And that's what I want. More than them knowing facts, I want them to want to learn information because when they're interested, they just pull it to themselves and they remember it.
Nice. Ah, thank you. Thank you so much for that. And Julie, it just came to me. Do you do consultations or something
I
of that
don't,
nature?
but I probably, as much homeschool curriculum as I have used over the years, I probably should.
You just present and do speak
Yeah.
at okay, because I'm like, I know you had a website, and I'm just like, oh, should
I
I have
never
been
thought
talking
about
about
that.
a business this whole time? But okay, no.
Yeah, so I've never thought about that, but I mean, I could. I've done enough.
Okay.
So I've homeschooled in 3 different states in the Southeast
Yes.
here and Louisiana. Hang on, I'm almost done. Go talk to Babby. Here, Louisiana and South Carolina.
Okay.
Um, that thank you for that idea. That's actually a really good idea.
But I will have a link to your website
Thank you.
in the description so that people can
Yeah.
find you if needed.
So
Okay.
I am gonna give a plug. I am working
Okay.
on a book.
Oh,
I'm hoping to have
yes.
it done in my spare time. I'm trying to get it done by the end of July and have it out for Christmas. And it's basically for mamas who are overwhelmed with the commercialism of Christmas. I mean, having 5 kids, it's very easy to get caught up in looking around. And so it's just kind of help mamas kind of recenter on their faith, on the reason that they do Christmas and maybe pare down some of the things they do. Now, if a mama wants to do Santa Claus or the elf, I by all means do that. But it's more of like, what can we do to simplify Christmas for you? Because we all want to do all the things, and it's so hard to do that. So it's going to be kind of a journal, little devotional, and then
Okay.
we're going to do Christmas in July here. And so we're going to create content on just some of the things that we do here, some of the easy projects. I'm a big literature fan. All my children have names from Pride and Prejudice, except for one, and she's hers is a nod to Little Women. But I so we are kind of like
Pride
Little
and
Women.
Prejudice is Jane Eyre.
Jane Austen, yeah.
Jane Austen, yeah,
Yes. So I have
okay.
an Austen, and then I have an Abigail Jane, and Jane's sister was Elizabeth, and then there was an Uncle Elliot, and then they all have A's and E's, and I'm like, okay, God, there was not supposed to be a fifth one, so I couldn't. I was out of names, and so um, in Little Women, Joe is my absolute favorite. I identify with Joe a lot, and Joe was played by June Allison in the one from like the 30s. And June Allison is one of my favorite old actresses, and so now I have Allison.
Oh,
I really
okay.
overthought it. It was ridiculous. But with some of the things that they do, like the homemade Christmas tree kind of, when we do some of that, just like we string popcorn, but little simple things that get the kids involved where you can sit around, watch a movie or talk or whatever, but have that together time because
Yes.
I mean, that's what Christmas is about, our
Yes.
families and our faith too. So
All
hopefully
right.
that will be done. But then yeah,
Yes, let me know
I
when. Let
will.
me know when. And even if it's like, some ways out or whatever the case may be, you can always come back on. So,
I would
all
love that. Thank you so
right.
much for having me. And I
Of
loved meeting
course.
you on
Thank
Saturday.
you.
That was so much fun.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to be there. I really do.
I'll be watching for next year.
Okay. I
You come to Gulfport
know.
next year and
We were gonna do Alabama next year, not necessarily
okay.
Mississippi. I know people was like, "Oh, you gotta come back to," and I'm like, "Oh, but we can't go everywhere every year." So it's
Yeah.
like it's hard to choose. I will tell you
Right.
that it really is
It's
hard to
not too far
choose.
away.
But yeah, I was gonna do Alabama next year. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But thank you. And listeners, you heard Julie. Julie was anti-co-op and now she's up in there. But overall, make sure you have a community. That's what it's always about. Finding the
Absolutely.
resources, finding the community, finding the support, because it is not meant to be done alone. And that's life in general. So always, always, always homeschool your kids.